All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 9 out of 52 of 2026. Weekly goal review. Here we go. I got my 2 weekly pictures. I got just a hike that I went on Sunday, and then I think Sunday morning, I broke my leg press PR. So I was shooting for 350 for this year, and I was up to 500. Kind of crazy. I'm proud of that. And then, yeah, just a day off where I just wanted to remember. So those are my weekly pictures. My last week's goals. Gave myself a 6 out of 10 spiritually. My self goals, 5 out of 10. I don't feel like I did very good. Health was a 2 out of 3. I only went to the gym 2 out of 3 days, and that's really the only goal that I have. And then for my wealth, I gave myself a 3 out of 10. I gave myself a 3 out of 10 there because I told myself that I would come up with a budget for my content creating so I can start budgeting and upgrading my equipment. Didn't come up with that. And then I did start spending a little bit more this week just to kind of finalize and really come together with that last week that I was going to have off from work and start preparing for going back to work this week. And so, yeah, I mean, it was needed, but it was not goal oriented. Let me put that differently. It was needed and it was required to kind of wrap up, but it just kind of went against the goals, unfortunately. But it was something that needed to get done. And so I gave myself a 3 out of 10. Time off, 6.5 out of 10. I did have meaningful time off instead of just death scrolling, and that was what I wanted to get at. But I still feel like I scrolled quite a bit, and I didn't make as much time as I wanted to. So yeah, overall last week, I really was just trying to mentally prepare to go back to work. I had been off work for almost 3 months, and so getting back into a flow state where I'm waking up early, going to work all day, and coming home, and then still having to pick up everything that I'm doing now. I had to kind of figure that out and get into that rhythm this week, and so I did. I pushed myself to wake up earlier this week and start getting into the habit of having some kind of structure again. And so I tried to change that before I had to, and I didn't want that shock of having to change that. So I tried to do that over the week. Saturday I went on a drive with a group of guys that I've met on Instagram. And then Sunday, like I said, I went on the hike. Honestly, I did not have a picture for the drive. And so I kind of wish I did take something, but I did not. I was shy and nervous. I didn't know anybody. And so I was just like, all right, well, yeah, I wish I would have taken more pictures, but I didn't. I did vlog that, but yeah, anyways. So this week, spiritually, I really just gave a lot of thanks. I really, in prayer, I just gave a lot of thanks because I looked back at everything that I had done with that time off, these 2.5, almost 3 months that I had. And I realized how much learning I've done within my trading, how much growth I've done within my content creating, and then how much I've actually put effort into wanting to change and better other things in my life. And so spiritually, that was just it was a really needed thing. And so I just wanted to give thanks and pray for that next season of slow down and really refine everything, because I really needed that. I'm going into this work season actually really well in my head, because I know that I took care of everything or as much as I could, and so therefore the rest of the year I can just focus on work, and I could just focus on locking in on not just my job but as well as my trading and my content. And so I don't have all these other side quests that I need to do, and so I just feel like I needed to give thanks for that spiritually. And so that was most of my spiritual week. I think I did end up studying the Bible, but that was really the main theme spiritually. Like I said, my self goals were trying to get prepared into this next week, and into this next season, which is the work season. I talked about this in the podcast where it's the end of the season where this slowdown period is, where I have time to go back and refine and learn and take a step back and try and make better adjustments for my life. That season ended, and so now I have to use everything that I've learned and then use the new strategies and structures that I've put in place for this year, and hopefully things go smoothly. So that more or less that's what I did last week for all my self goals. As for my health, I'm still shooting for those 3 days a week. I'm realizing we're still starting a bit late. It's still early. It's still 7 o'clock in the morning, but I go to the gym between 3:30 and 5. So that gives me time in the morning. So I'm going to keep trying. I was going to put my membership on pause for the rest of the year, but I think I'm going to keep trying to hit the gym at least the 2 times that I've been making it work. But I'm going to still keep shooting for that 3 because I like going 3 days a week. And then, like I said, I crushed that 350 goal leg press goal that I had. and I feel really good about that. Honestly, I feel really good. Like ever since I did that, like this morning I went to the gym and I just felt great because I kind of saw that progress of like I struggled to do 300 or I struggled to do like even close to 300, and then I got up to 500 just within these like 2-3 months. I thought that was insane. As for my wealth, like I said, I kind of went against the goal of not spending, but just because it was that last slow week, I really just wanted to enjoy it and I didn't want to hold myself back. Not crazy, but it's just like small things. Like I did not go to the gas station and buy a protein shake just because, or like a breakfast burrito just because. And I did that this week because I knew that this was my last week and I wanted to enjoy those things. I wanted at least a time where I could like do that. So I gave that last week because I knew my budget and I knew that I stayed within my budget the whole time. And so I had a little bit of room to stretch. And again, it's nothing crazy, but it was an enjoyable thing that I wanted to do. And so I kind of stretched that goal. I didn't stay within the rules that I had set for that, but I'm okay with it. I'm for the 1 week that it was, and the fact that it wasn't even probably it was probably less than $50 that I had spent more than supposedly what I had set for, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, but I still have to write it down because it does go against my goals. Time off, like I said, we went on a hike Sunday, went on that cruise Saturday, and then, I mean, really, for the most part, I did take that 1 hour a day off every day after I was done with my daily routine. As for next week, my spiritual goals are start praying in the mornings. I used to pray in the mornings on the way to work and a little bit on the way home. So I do want to pick that up again and make sure that I am doing that because that was my prayer time when I was going to work. That's the one thing that I miss about having a set schedule and somewhere to go in the mornings is that I would pray on my way to work and then sometimes on the way home. And then just being stuck at home, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that because I wasn't in the car. And it just, I was so distracted by everything else that I had to do at home. And so that was the one thing I was looking forward to going back. See, another thing is that I'm stuck in a machine all day. And so it's either listen to the radio or listen to a podcast. And so I did try and sit down and study the Bible. I'm going to keep trying to do that. I know I did it last year for a while. And so I can keep doing that. But podcasts, I can listen to a lot of podcasts while I'm at work. So the only thing I want to do different this year is take notes. We'll see how that goes. I'm probably just going to write them down in my notes app, and then I don't know what I'll do with them, but I mean, maybe they'll just stick better if I write them down. As for myself, I have to be smarter with my time management because I don't have a lot of time anymore. I'm getting off work at like 5:30, so that leaves from like 6 o'clock to like 8 o'clock. That only gives me about 2.5 hours to actually get any content trading and then this kind of stuff taken care of. And so I don't have time to lose anymore. I really have to jam everything into one day. Yeah, and then as for my trading, trade smart, trade safe, and use the lessons learned while I was off, and keep uploading the content that I was initially doing. As for my health, like I said, I'm gonna try and make it to the gym. There's gonna be a time where we starting earlier, where it doesn't make sense, where I'm not gonna go to the gym at 2:30, just so I can make it to work by 5 or 4. So once it gets like overwhelming and like too much, I will take a step back. But right now, we're just getting started. It is a little bit slower, and so I'm gonna try to make that work. I did it this morning. It wasn't that bad. I'm a little tired now, but I think I can make it work for at least another month. So I'm gonna shoot for that. We'll see how that goes. As for my wealth goals, I want to keep the same spending habits that I had, which is not spending like extra any gas stations or any overspending, not going out as much. It's just same thing. Just because I started working, I do want to maximize as much as I make and then leverage that and then have something to do later, or again build another buffer for the next winter season where I can take a better step back a little bit more comfortably and maybe actually do more things that next season, because this year I missed out on some things that I wanted to do. It just ended up being that way. Time off, I'm going to still try and take that hour off at the end of the day that I have been taking because I think it's really good mentally. I completely just disconnect from everything from the day, especially these longer days when I wake up and I go to the gym, and then I am going to try and take that hour at the end of the day to completely disconnect from everything. And hopefully that helps me mentally during the rest of the year, because there's times during the year where my mind just does get kind of dark, and I don't it's like a work cycle. Like it's just like a depressing work cycle, and so hopefully taking an hour off at the end of the day will help me out a lot during this year. I feel really refreshed going into the work season. So hopefully keeping that up will help me get through this year a lot better than the past couple of years. And then my 3 non-negotiables are my trading strategy, follow my rules and my system. Content goals is keep meeting those content goals. And then my faith-based learning that I said I would do through podcasts or even picking up the Bible after work here and there and reading at least a chapter and hopefully getting somewhere with that. But I don't want to completely drop that. I was able to fit it in with my schedule here at home, and so I want to continue that during the rest of the year. It's crazy how I'm currently working on week 10 out of the year and I'm reviewing week 9. Like it's already been almost 3 months. And some of the progress, I feel like a lot of these things I feel like a lot of the goals that I have set, I haven't even like met many of them, but that's the point of these weekly goal reviews, is to at least be able to look back and reflect and be like, okay, I'm at least challenging myself every week little by little. And the things that I'm not achieving, I'm either rolling over or I'm trying to figure out why I can't get them done. And if I can't get them done now, with like for example, this period where I didn't have an income, I couldn't set any purchase like budget goals or like expenses to make to like upgrade or to like work on stuff that maybe I would like to, whether it's like working on cars or renovating something or just maybe more vacation time. Like I can't do those things now, but I can at least write down and track the small wins that I'm taking now, and at least I can say later that I took something instead of nothing. And then even if I don't remember, I know, and I think it's better than nothing. Thanks for watching this week's weekly review. If you guys are new, you can hit the link in the description. It'll bring you to this Google Drive. You guys can create your own weekly, yearly reviews along with an annual review to help you prepare at the end of every year for the year to come. Your pages will look something like this, just completely empty. All you do is hit File, create a copy, and then name it Annual Review for whatever year. Same thing with the other files, is you just make a copy and then you label it whatever you want. Nobody can see this, only you. Don't worry, the drive is just there to share the documents. Unless you want to share them, then let me know in the comment section. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next week.